Today we will discuss the Mind Palace Memory Retention Method. We all know that thousands of books are stocked in a library because of proper demarcation and their shelves. Likewise, we can use a physical building like our home or school or any place or path that we are familiar with. Once we decide our mind palace, we need to identify some clear points and then link the information with those points. This method utilizes the MI, the multiple intelligence of space, visual memory, imagination, and in this particular example, we have also added the concept of linking. So we are taking a mind palace from our life, the stages of a person's life, which is usually school, college, and beyond college. At school, the first thing is the guard desk. Then comes the reception, followed by the admission desk, the principal's office, kindergarten, and then learning of dance and music, primary know-how, middle school full of diversions, secondary classes, and higher secondary classes where we learn main subjects. Then comes college, where we pick one career path and do a degree in that inside a degree college. Beyond college, we pick a field in our job. We struggle and evolve. After a lot of struggle, we get professional attainment. Once professional attainment happens, people get into social service and do a lot of good deeds. Everyone likes to fulfill their responsibilities. And the last stage is the time to leave this planet. We have taken 18 points because we are trying to remember the chapters of Bhagavad Gita through this method. Bhagavad Gita has been read worldwide and gives us principles that relate to work, life, religion, philosophy, and spirituality. Chapter 1: The Distress of Arjun. The guard desk. You all know it's very difficult to cross the first desk. And when a child is cranky and coming to the school for the first time, he gets very flabbergasted by all the questions that the guard will ask or all the things that he will take. So Arjun's distress is connected with the guard desk, DD, that's the link. Then the child goes to the reception. At the reception, he gets self-realization. The reception usually has the book of all the doctrines that the school has. After that, the child has to take action, so he goes to the admission desk. The fourth chapter is the religion of knowledge. The fourth person in the school that a child meets is usually the principal, who has all the knowledge about the school. The fifth is kindergarten, where the child is into Karam Sannyas Yoga. He is not bothered about the result. He is just busy learning, playing, and doing things. Chapter 6 is the Dhyan Yoga or practice of meditation, which we do while we do dance and music. How lost we are in these activities. This is almost comparable to meditation. Chapter 7 is the yoga of knowledge and judgment, the primary know-how. Chapter 8, the religion of devotion. In the middle school, while we should have devotion, what we really have is diversions. So this time it is not the same thing but an opposite quality which we will try to memorize. Diversions, religion of devotion. Chapter 9 is the yoga of sovereign science and sovereign secrets learnt in the secondary classes. Chapter 10 is the yoga of divine manifestations. In the higher classes, you figure out your main subject and then pay attention to it. Chapter 11 is manifesting of the one and manifold. That's when you decide which one career path will you choose. The next is the yoga of devotion. This is something that you attain in the degree college. You devote a lot of energy to acquire this degree. Chapter 13 is the yoga and difference between field and field knower. We pick a field in our job. We may have got a degree, but still we could get into various fields, but we pick one field. Next chapter is the forces of evolution. Struggle and evolve. After we get into the job, we have to struggle with time, money, people, relationships, and then we evolve. Next chapter is the yoga of Supreme Purusha. How do we get this? How do we attain professional excellence? By going through the tough steps on the ladder. The next yoga is the division between divine and demonic, the good deeds that we do after we have attained professional excellence. Chapter 17 is the yoga of threefold faith, which everyone faithfully wants to fulfill. Usually the basic being roti kapda makan. Chapter 18 is the yoga of liberation and renunciation. This is the time to leave. Only when we leave shall we get liberated. The mind palace, and through which we had tried learning the different chapters. Let's see if we got them right. The first stage was guard desk, which reminds us of the distress of Arjun. The second is reception, which will remind us of self-realization. The next is the admission desk, which will remind us of the yoga of action. The next being principle, being the knowledge source. This reminds us of chapter 4, the religion of knowledge. Next is the kindergarten, the karma sannyas yoga, when child is just doing an action, not thinking about results. Then the child is learning dance and music, which can be compared to the practice of meditation or dhyan yoga. The next being the primary know-how. This is the yoga of knowledge and judgment, the basic information that you take in when you are in primary grade. The next stage is middle school, where you have diversions, but what you need is devotion. This reminds us of chapter 8, religion of devotion. Then comes your secondary school. The letter S reminds us of sovereign science and sovereign secrets. Chapter 10 is the higher secondary, where we learn the main subject, the yoga of divine manifestation. After being through all the stages of school, getting to our main subject is almost like finding out the divine manifestation. Then we pick one career path, which is like manifesting of one and manifold, chapter 11. Chapter 12 is the yoga of devotion. Devotion is something which we need in our degree college. After the degree college, we pick a field. This reminds us of chapter 13, the difference between field and field knower. After picking the field, we have to grow, struggle, evolve. This reminds us of the forces of evolution, chapter 14. Then we attain professional excellence. This is the yoga of Supreme Purusha. The next one is doing good deeds. This reminds us of the yoga of division between divine and demonic, the letter D. Then we all want to faithfully fulfill our responsibility. This reminds us of the threefold faith. And when the time to leave comes, it is also the chapter 18, which is the yoga of liberation and renunciation. So, by just a simple mind palace, we got all the 18 chapters of Gita. Little by little, through patience and repeated effort, the mind will become stilled in the self. For those of you who would like to read summary of Gita, kindly click the link in the description box. Thank you. God bless.